I'm assembling a remake of the Amiga 2000 now. I've got all the IC sockets in, which was, I don't know, about 5 hours work. Although I did get faster as I went. I was a bit out of practice. This is where it's heading to. This board has terrible battery damage, and I don't know if you can even see it that well, but I've got fixed focus on because I've got this up on an angle so that I can drop the components in this bomb through the board, because they've got quite long leads on them still, and so I need to fit resistors, all of these components, and then I need to move on to something else, probably ceramic capacitors and then resistor packs, or the other way around. These are all what we call passive components. They're not semiconductors, they're not integrated circuits, they're not sensitive to static electricity, they just are what they are. A resistor's a piece of wire that, well, it's not really a piece of wire, well, it depends on what it's made of, but it's just really a choke point in the system. Very precision one. So these fellows here are 1/4 watt 1K resistors that I bought in a component pack to build this. I hope they're metal film. I never checked. They're carbon. It's less cool. Being 5% though, I don't know. Doesn't matter. If they're carbon, they're carbon. I'm not going to replace them all now. It's not like this is going to be on for thousands and thousands of hours. Even if this computer is still of use in a sort of a retro computing context in, oh, I don't know, 50 years, and the original's 40 years old, let's say in 100 years, the carbon resistor should still be fine given the duty cycle it'll see. It just won't be on all that much. So this is a pack of beautiful, buying it like this. It wasn't cheap, but look, you just get bags of resistors, you know, with the, and I checked them with my multimeter as well. Well, checked one off the continuous strip just to make sure that the seller didn't make an error, which of course the seller didn't. It seems to be all over it. Seller supplied this as well. I do have one, but this is for forming the leads. And I've just fitted this one here, which is resistor 233. If I go to my bomb, the next 1 kilo ohm resistor to fit is, so I fitted R1, I fitted 233, now I have to fit 243. Now 233 I found using an online thing where you type in the component number like R233 and it shows you where it is and blinks and confirms the value of it. It's just amazing that it exists at all. And you can see over here I've drawn 2 resistors, and these fellows, and again I've got fixed focus on, but usually one of the bands, which is it the tolerance or the multiplier, I don't know. I tried to learn the resistor colours once and I found I just didn't care enough. But it's off to one side and it's a particular colour. And so I've got 2 little drawings here to remind me which way around they go, which is purely for aesthetics. And I've picked up the orientation from the original board. But this one here at 233 is right behind the audio connector. And this here's the audio op amp, but because it's right behind the left audio connector, my assumption was, without going back to the computer to check, that 243 would be in a very similar spot behind the other connector. And it transpires that it is. There's 233 and there's 243. Just checking that I've matched it. Again, poking through the hole, and then we'll just give the legs on the back just a little tweak so it can't fall out. You'll often see people really crank these over till they're pretty much horizontal, which is no good for soldering and no good for rework. They just need to be kinked at the board so that they stay in position. There are, and I do have one, I'm not using it, there are jigs to hold these things. I'm just going to check this one because it's not exactly the same spot between both of them. And while I don't believe there are any known errors with the silkscreen, I am quite happy to check. Yep, that's correct. It's blinking at me on the thing. And so that's 243. This should take, it'll take days. And that's okay. That's okay. Some things do. You just put one component at a time on the board, and after the necessary amount of time has lapsed, there are no more components to put in the board, and the computer is built. It's a kind of patience I learned off my grandfather. So where are we up to now? 301. Oh, can we just find it? Oh, I want to show you my balding hair. Actually, it's not balding, I'm pleased to say. Pleased. I'm sick of getting haircuts. I thought based on the rest of my family I'd be bald by now and I wouldn't have to worry about that. But so 301. I mean, theoretically, they're kind of you know, they don't jump all over the board. 301 now, I found him. R301. He'll be right there. Gold line at the bottom according to my little drawing, which in time I will remember. R301. There you go. Oh, so satisfying. That's a little bit of a bend. I'll stand the board up on its edge and just give them all a tweak, but for now I just need to make sure they can't fall out. Yeah, heartbreaker. And I'll only do so many before I start soldering. I don't know how many. 50? I don't know. Probably not that many. 25 would be heaps. So 1/4 watt, 5%, 1K. I can probably figure out if they're carbon or metal film by that. At 5% they're probably carbon. That's okay. R301 and R302. Okay. R301's next to a resistor pack. A little one, RP301. I wonder where R302's gone. I'm sure this makes for riveting television. Ha! But, as I said to some friends on Facebook the other day, compared to a lot of the shorts that I've seen on the various platforms, this is quality viewing. Anyway, I'll try and get my head out of the frame. Alright, R302. I'll go and ask the guide, which is on my confuser here. R302. Oh, there it is. It's just between the audio connectors and back. So it looked like it was about there somewhere. Oh, there it is, R302. It's yep, and it confirms that it's a 1 kilo ohm resistor as well. So we are in business. And this is electronics. It's not very glamorous, is it? R302. 302. Oh yeah, there we go. And then we'll bend the leads like so. And this is it, you know, and if I do this neatly, it'll look like $1,000,000. And if I do it rough, it won't. So I'll do it neatly, and I'll take my time. There is, here in the 21st century, no burning, pressing need for this computer whatsoever. And that's great. I think that's a part of the attraction of vintage computing, to be honest. It's discretional, optional. There are so many things about computers that are mandatory, you know, that can't be escaped. In the workplace and elsewhere, but this is not. This brings back, for me at least, some of the great joy that computers first brought me when I first encountered them. When workplaces still didn't really use them, and in any case I was too young to have a job. Show me 311. Where is the blinking spot? Oh, I'm over here at my computer and there's a blinking spot somewhere on here, but I can't see it. Oh, there it is. Wow. It's way over there. It's down here. I don't even know if that's still in the shot. I think it is. I do have to be careful I don't lose one of these. The seller has that I bought these from, quite fairly, has not provided a spare. Well, not with the components I've used so far, and that's fair enough. I mean, you have a spare of one of each size, and before you know it, there's, you know. So that's that way again, and I'm over here at, I should be crossing these off as I go. Well, I'm doing them sequentially, so there it is. I'm doing these sequentially so I can always figure out where I was up to for whatever bag I have open. Can you see how much work this is? It's okay. I haven't put this socket in yet. I was thinking about trying to get a 3M one. I would pay. I mean, a 3M branded one is I think $6 from my local online commercial electronics getting spot. If there was one that was $15 and had, you know, additional goodness about it, I'd buy it. But there are not. When I'm on there, there are a whole bunch of little jumpers on here that have to be installed. Little fellows like those that just join two pins together. And the cheap ones are sometimes garbage. They don't deal very well with insertion and removal. They get loose. Sometimes they don't make sufficient contact at all. And I found some on Element 14. They're 60 cents each. Which does sound cheap, but I'll need 20 of them, so I'll spend $12 on jumpers. And they'll be a snug fit, and they will remain a snug fit, I suspect. Worth the... oh no, where are my resistors? Here they are. Worth the effort, I think. I mean, look at them, it's just... worth the effort, I think, because... worth the expense, I think, because if you think about the number of hours I'm putting into this, 311, 312 is right next to it. As a hobbyist, you know, I'm not trying to do this in such a way that I can do it for a price that means that I'm commercially competitive with some other person doing it. You know, this is not a commercial operation at all. If I was trying to I was chatting away here and you bent it to the wrong size, which is not ideal. Then you know, I might be interested in shaving cents on the costs of things, but I'm not. It's not what this is. I'm not interested in doing it cheap. I'm interested in doing it well. Yeah, I bent that completely wrong. Oh, it looks fine. Choice. Yeah, so paying $12 for the jumpers that I need to, I don't know, I mean, even having the custom chips already, I'm probably, by the time I've refurbished a power supply and so on and so on and so on, let's not count that. Just the board, the working board. Having already got the custom chips, I'll probably be in for the best part of $1,000 the way I've gone about this. I might as well have good jumpers. So that's resistor 312. Are you bored yet? If you're still watching, you're probably at a point where you ought to try doing this yourself. Because if you're not bored with this yet, then it means you have some sort of genuine affinity for it, I would say. And it's fundamentally Meccano. Yeah, 601 is 1K. And it's down here somewhere. The hardest part with a project like this is recovering if something doesn't work. If I button all this up and it doesn't work, well, you know, that's hard to deal with. But I've made quite a few different things over the years, mostly from kits. I've done very limited a very limited amount of work. Rotate that to be the right way around. R601. R601. Check the list. 1K. Interestingly, it now says R602 to R605. I can see R603. Why would it say R601 and then R602 to 605? Why wouldn't the bomb say R601 to 605? We'll be able to confirm that on that on-screen thing. And usually, I mean, some of the people that build various kits, like the ones available from Elliott Sound for audio projects, the amount of effort that's in the project description and the assembly notes and the sort of steps to take when commissioning something that's been built, the guides are so good that not only have I found that it's hard to go wrong given sufficient attention to detail, but that the experience is a learning experience. I wonder where 602 is. I see 603, 4 and 5. They're all just here. I'm going to have to go and check for 602 and also confirm that 602, 3, 4 and 5 are all 1K resistors. 602 is, I got a top of the range 4K monitor over here and I'm struggling. Colour accurate, I do photo work on it. Oh, 602 is over near the power connector. That's a 1K though. Also helps to get acquainted with the board too, like I say, over near the power connector. And that comes from experience. But I don't think, I think the most important skill that I have for attempting this is confidence. I'm not sure that there's more to be said for it than that. Anyway, I'll keep building.